Thank you everyone for attending. I recently got my disability designation, so I appreciate you accommodating my crib time. Does this sound weird? Is it kind of tinny on this end? Just me.
Good.
Perfect. So today, thanks to this space, to Taz, to Nana, I will be the featured artist. And as you can see, it's left to the imagination. And that's what tonight is about, is imagining together. So just to kind of like list off, we got a couple performers tonight. We have Josie Boyce. I'm actually going to read it sort of in order that we're going to go. So you'll definitely get like adequate amount of time to, you know. So starting off, we'll have Josie Boyce, following by with Andrew. Leanne will round up the first half. We'll take a little break, see where everyone's at, just make sure everyone's got time to do what they need for a break. We'll gather back together. I've got my buddy Paulo, who's going to read tonight as well. And I will also be reading on the behalf of one of my dear friends, Yersinia, who is elsewhere in the world, and I am here, and Z will speak through me. Okay, so I think that's the beginning part for that. Just to talk about, first of all, do I look good tonight?
Woo!
Okay, perfect. There we go. You're all dolls. So, first of all, I want to take some time to kind of talk about who I am, how I got here, whatever it is I'm doing with whatever it is I'm doing. I wrote some handy notes that I'm going to try and open up with one hand whilst I entertain with my voice. And if I am successful... Okay, so to start off, I know a lot of us here are here because we share some intersections. A lot of us are identify under the queer umbrella, whether in gender, sexuality, just being a little bit extra colorful, whatever. That's something we all have in common. It is with sad news to start this off that I actually was just reading legislation that has been introduced in Florida. It's kind of meant as like a mean parody law about trans marriage. And so the conservatives there are trying to actually push forward a law that melons can get married as like a joke. And it's really odd that, especially because they specify that the melons can get married, they just can't elope. Thank you. Okay, so this is my first poem that I just kind of half wrote, and then I'm gonna like finish the end as it comes to me. This poem's called While We're Here. Thank you, first of all, to those who braved the risk to share a chance, to remember while we're here the joy of communal wealth as we persevere in a world designed to steal our time. You were meant to be here now, because you chose to be. Our time often measured by hands that clatter to try and keep measure while the speedometer of our mind pings with a whine, singing spells of sorries as we're coerced to sell our sins. So, in the spirit of being coerced to sell our sins, let's have a good time. Let's sell ourselves, let's tell our stories, let's have a good time. And let's just remember that as we're here... Ooh, I'm getting a weird call. I'm gonna just go back. As we're here, let's just remember that it is an act of resistance to gather with precautions to looking after each other's health. I would be amiss not to. I think I'm just gonna be a little sexy casual. I'd be amiss not to talk about the history of where we're at right now, in the state of just geographically and politically and all that. Commercial Drive was founded 150 years ago when colonizers first started terrorizing these shores. In the development of Commercial Drive, the colonizers spent 10 years murdering indigenous people, stewards of the land, over 3 epidemics that greatly wiped out whole histories. And 3 epidemics. And through the weakening of the epidemics, indigenous cultures and economies became reliant on colonial wage because Commercial Drive is a bunch of commercials. And if we're talking realistically, like, I think it's the Tsleil-Waututh.
Squamish.
Well, if I may continue, the Tsleil-Waututh specifically were reduced from like 30,000 strong to 3,000. Yes, other lands, sharing the land, what does that mean? So, to bring it to the future, I think it's important to remember that the colonizers' blueprint is to keep spreading epidemic after epidemic. It's to keep propagating the magical reality that a lot of people inhibit, that sharing the air care, whatever you want to call it, isn't important. They want us to act as agents of the state to carry out the blueprint. And we can see it in the ways we are, presently some of us try to stand in solidarity. I think of all the Palestinian actions, bless, right? That genocide sucks, and we see our comrades, our peers, showing up to these events unmasked, shouting their rage, while the cops idly sit by and kind of crack a smile. This is what they want. They want us to weaken each other. They want to use us as agents of perpetrating the violence. So, as part of this poem or whatever, I just want to acknowledge, thank you for taking the time to show that there's still time and place for us to resist. Thank you, Nana, for everything you do, for making space for me, and of course for little Meowchi. Nana runs this space. They really fight the commercialism of Commercial Drive. They try to give us space to scream out our rage, get creative about it, imagine together what could be on that wall. So that's my land acknowledgement portion. Just remember, the history's literally in the cement, and cement can be taken apart. I think we'll at that time. Does that satiate the opening requests? I can't remember. Oh, and of course, if we could all just take a minute before we get our first reader who on deck is Josie Boyce. Now, Josie, I forgot to. I haven't cleared with anyone. I've got bios for Josie, Andrew, and Leanne. Would you like to read your own bio? Would you like me to introduce you? I can gas you the fuck up if you'd like, or if you want to take a stab at it.
Feel free to read the bio and I'll go up and read.
Sweet. So yeah, Josie, you're on deck. But first, I would be amiss if we don't all just make a big hoot and holler for Taz. Fucking A! Taz has been running this film how long has it been now?
Last month was the 1-year anniversary of this event.
Okay. So I'm number 13.
There's been a couple months off, so something like
Semantics.
10
I'll be lucky 13.
things. Yes.
That's what I'm gonna put on my CV or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, Taz, thanks. You know, for over the last however long we've kind of known each other in this space. Thank you. I'm mostly here. I'd say probably like 85% here because you're here. So thank you. Again, everyone, Taz. Josie, come on up. I'm going to just actually kind of sit oddly in the corner here while I write my notes, if that's cool with you.
Okay.
And we'll get you situated. If I can.
All right.
And if you would like to stand,
Yeah, you can sit. I actually encourage sitting. It's
Actually,
kind of
I'm gonna sit because I rarely get a chance to sit and
yeah.
Oh my God.
do a reading. You know, you're always standing and then you're trying to fuzz with your book and then, you know.
I mean, I encourage it. If I may, I'm just actually going to push this here for you, and then,
Yeah.
Is that close enough for you?
It is. I've been on mic so long.
Excellent.
Okay. So,
Yes,
you're gonna do.
I fucked up, yeah. So here we have Josie Boyce.
Hi.
Yeah, let's, you know, actually, if I may, for the rest of it, I'm kind of, as a cat with 4 ears, I'm scared of loud noises, so if we can convert to snaps, add to the nice rain that's outside. So again, keep those snaps going for Josie Boyce, a trans woman from down home, brackets, New Brunswick, who for the last 30 plus years has mostly lived, worked, and created art in East Vancouver. She has been a projectionist, a filmmaker, a movie reviewer, underground cartoonist, a poet, and a publisher with 3 books of poetry and a few comic books to her credit. Oh my God, okay. More recently, Josie published a zine called the Indolent? Or
Indolent?
Yeah. Indolent Spinster's Occasional Concern, which is mostly a themed melange of movie reviews with lots of related public domain imagery and sometimes actual personal content. You may recognize her from many years of service at Block Dog Video on Commercial Drive, harmonizing with the Femme City Choir, or aimlessly wandering up and down Commercial Drive on sunny days. That's so funny. I'm a Blockbuster veteran.
Oh yeah.
We should talk after.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, give your snaps up for Josie Boyce.
All right. Thank you.
You got the mic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So, I'm trying a little experiment with you folks. This is a poem I wrote over 30 years ago, 34, 35 years ago. So maybe some of you weren't even here. And I've never read it before, even though I've read dozens and hundreds of times in public. And some of you may relate. Do we have any theater kids in the house?
Woo!
Theater kids?
No.
Theater kids? No theater kids?
No.
This might be the first time I've ever been to a poetry reading with no theater kids. Okay. Well, you probably still understand going to a party. When you do a play, afterwards you gotta cut loose. So this is called Collected Party. And the first one is really cleverly titled Collected Party 1. Last night, I was at a party, naturally, where a polka dot woman was staring at me when she changed her white dress and her paisley pantyhose purple. She never saw me again. I sat in the white kitchen near the booze, and I drank some, but not a lot. I went into the other room. People were dancing. I didn't dance. It wasn't that I couldn't. I just didn't want to. There were some people in there I knew. None of them knew me, though. I went back to the kitchen and had some homemade beer and a little sangria. Well, a lot of sangria. I talked to some people who should have been kissing. You could see it in their mouths. Their hands touched their legs. It was depressing. Although nobody seemed to notice except me. When we were leaving, everyone hugged and kissed, and 4 of us went for coffee. After the coffee, 2 of us curled up in the back seat, going home. It was cold outside. When she left the back seat, I was still warm. I got home snug in my bed with my feet stuck out from under the covers. It was cold inside. Collected party 2, folie à deux, as it were. A few days ago, Tuesday actually, I saw a play wherein I caught my conscience being, anybody? King! After the play, there was a party, naturally. I shook some hands and kissed some cheeks. A shy woman with nothing to drink wanted to kiss me. I gave her some wine. Her lips bit my cheek lightly, leaving a bloody stain. Her fingers cleaned away the blood, kissing my beard soft and hard. I threw a kiss at her back. The free beer arrived and I drank it. I talked to different people about the same things. Then I talked to the same people about different things. As I drank. It was a large party, but we moved it in a small car to my place. I sat on the sofa with my legs on a friend. Her legs were between mine. We peeled off each other's socks and exposed our naked feet. Her fingers kissed my feet, sometimes soft, sometimes hard. I tried to do the same, resisting the urge to eat her toes. She fell asleep with her toes this close to my hungry teeth, my toes touching her breast. I slept for a while. You got the right reaction. When I woke, someone was screaming at the shower. It was cold. It took us all an hour to get from the floor to the door. We had breakfast at a Sal's. It wasn't much fun. I wanted some toast with my toast. I went home to my bed without cleaning up the mess. My feet stuck out from under the covers, kissing the cold. The cold never threw any kisses back. Collected party 3. Saturday night I saw a play. Again. I mouthed the words with my hands. Coincidentally, I was sitting next to a poet. After the play, there was a party, naturally. The poet drove wild and fast, as poets sometimes do. We got there first. The party was downtown and upstairs. On the walls, clown faces bled awful smiles my way. There were a lot of women and their sisters, dressed in black, their icy teeth pressed, their strawberry kissers. One of them spoke to me. She said, "The bathroom is over there." I wasn't getting drunk, but I was drinking a lot. I hate it when that happens. A friend came in. She was late, asked me, "What's the matter?" I said, "No." She took her hand from my shoulder and talked to someone else. We all drank too late. When we left, we went to my place again. When I arrived, everyone was waiting for me, as they sometimes do. I got there last. My roommate was sick and sat up, watching wrestling. There was nothing to drink out of except a sugar bowl. The poets left early, as poets sometimes do. Collected party. Yesterday, there was a play. Same one. I didn't go. I could have. I just didn't want to. At the time, I was writing a poem. Again. When the poem was over, there was a party, naturally. But first, I walked to the theater. My tongue was cold until the snow kissed through my socks to my warm, white mouth. I got there when the play was over, and I used my tools, actors, to dismantle the set. An actor lost part of his face as the stage became naked and scarred, white. The theater was empty when everyone left. At the party, I drank quickly to catch up. Tequila! A friend of mine was dressed in black, except for her white skirt. She thought she made me sad, but I set her straight. Tequila! Then, a moist woman was staring at me with her lips. She wanted a closer look. So did I. We exchanged glances for a long time. She said, "You're a good kisser," with her eyes. I blinked in agreement. We rubbed noses, then mingled separately, until we felt the urge to stare at one another again. Then she left. Drunk, I was. A man I didn't recognize without his beard and 5 other people, including me, got into a car and went nowhere. We shared a cigarette and laughed a lot. Back inside, things went from hazy to obscure for a little while, until we were all leaving at once. I found myself in another car. Someone got in the front seat. I was in the back. My lips ventured forward and discovered this woman eating my tongue. Her tongue tasted like beer. I liked it. On the way home, I wanted more. I got the occasional mouthful of mouth. I was happy. I promised to make her chicken. She promised to eat it. I was happy. After the party was over, there was a poem. Naturally. Collected party number 5. This is the last one. I've been to a lot of parties recently, but I haven't been writing them down again. Until now, I waited with some apprehension. The poet was coming late to give me a lift. We had just got going when this station wagon ran us off the road. True story. The poet's door was broken in the crash, but the poet was pissed off and calm. Poets are like that. It was cold, so we went and bought some beer, the poet, the mad thinker, and me. At the party, there were some unfamiliar faces and one familiar one. The party started off kind of slow. I drifted around here and there asking women about their friends. Mostly I stood in the kitchen again. The kitchen was small, but it was a big party. Some people came and went, but I didn't know them. In one corner, 2 sopranos wrote a poem. In another corner, some people I knew were jamming. In a third, the stereo blasted, but I couldn't hear it. I sat in a last corner discussing my ancestry with a woman whose soft black legs and long red hair complemented those freaky eyes. Back in the kitchen, sitting on a tiny red chair, I brushed my cheek with the short black and softly gray hair of my good friend Carol. She held my hand and told me about herself. When she left, I saw a gift someone had bought for her. Later, our hostess needed some sleep, so the rest of us went to a Sal's. We wanted breakfast, but they had no milkshakes. So we sang some songs about pickles. It seemed to be the thing to do. The poet, the mad thinker, and Dee left without me, so I got a ride from a Starship Superstar. When I got home, I was content to sleep. I didn't mind that my feet stuck out from under the covers. It wasn't cold outside, and I don't think I mind the cold anymore. Anyway. Black Hole Theater, 1989. That's it.
Thank you so much.
That deep voice was my uninformed gender dysphoria creeping into the poem.
It's okay. We love our deep. You're not done yet.
I am.
No.
Okay.
You may be done.
Yeah.
We're not done.
Okay.
We'll let you know.
Yeah.
First of all, we love our deep voiced women.
Yeah.
And we love our bearded women. So, but Miyachi wanted to ask.
Yes.
You've got the 5 poems.
Yeah.
5 plays.
Actually, 3. The middle 3 poems were all King Lear.
King Lear.
Yeah.
What was
Conscience of the King.
What's the first and the third?
Oh, gee, the first one now was, I'm not even sure I remember. I think it might have been the Kurt Vonnegut, Breakfast of Champions.
Nice.
And the last one was, I want to say something Greek, maybe Oedipus. We did a lot of the classics.
Sweet.
University of Manitoba.
You were acting in them?
Acting, directing, building sets, doing everything. I got a minor in theater.
Sweet. It sounds major to me. And do you sell copies of?
I do. This is my newest chapbook.
Yeah,
I have 3 other ones in my bag. Plus, Nina has them here in the store.
I want one at some point because
I have them with me.
Sure. Any other?
I have this book. This is called Hunky Punk Devotions. A lot of the poems were in a previous harder cover book, kind of a real book that wasn't a zine. That is now out of print, and so I'm just cutting it up and using it as a zine, different themes. So this is one, and then I've got a couple of other 3 books here, plus all my movie review zines. That's the Indolent, Spinster, Occasional Concern. I have some of those, and Nina has some here as well. And yeah, so get all those books. And,
sorry, yeah.
And
Machi's asking how much singles and how much for your zenography.
Okay, so these poetry zines, the poetry ones are $10. Yeah. The movie review ones are $5. Yeah, unless they're really thick, but mostly they're $5. Okay. And that's it. That's the pricing.
And do you accept trades?
I accept trades, and I accept cash, and I accept e-transfers, and
excellent.
if you're really poor, a handshake.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah.
There you go.
A little bit of that extra. We'll talk later.
Okay.
But that is. Thank you, everyone. Again, another round of snaps.
I'm glad I can't do that, so
that's okay.
Thank you for snapping for me.
Basically, as long as you can get some of it.
Well, yeah, I get sometimes I can get like a
actually
little...
this one here.
Yeah,
that's always a nice little.
Yeah.
For the soundscape. Josie Boyce, that was amazing.
Thanks. It was an experiment because I've never read that before, so it's different than my usual.
Well, none of us here usually are open to experimentation. So we appreciate you doing that.
Thank you.
And you may go now.
Okay, I'll be here watching everybody till the end. So if you want to get a book or something,
please do.
Hit me up. Thank you.
Perfect. So next on deck we have Andrew. I'm gonna read a little bit about Andrew because. There's something, I have a secret to tell Andrew that Andrew doesn't know. But Andrew is an interdisciplinary QPOC artist with technical training in digital art and illustration. He is primarily occupied with visual expression, but enjoys exploring other mediums to cultivate creativity as a mindfulness practice. Andrew is new to the performance space and keeps songwriting and poetry as an intimate outlet. He only claims to make art, not good art, and is excited to present you a hodgepodge of brain scribbles. Perfect. Well, this is the best performance space to be, let the intimate become the outlet or whatever. So if everyone would be so kind, let's welcome Andrew to the stage.
First I want to thank Josie because I am so nervous right now, but you're such a soothing voice that really helps me. And also just thank all the performers tonight. It's such a beautiful creative space, and last time I was here it really inspired me just like dip my toes in. So
If it helps with your first time, Miachi is as solid as a rock. You can have her on your lap. She does that. So yeah, Miachi. Just so anyone knows, any secrets you tell her, never tells anyone. So please, thank you.
There we go. So my first one is called Urban Cyborg, and it's an analogy for the violence towards trans bodies, and it definitely requires some angst, so I just need a moment to rechannel that.
Sure.
Crack, snap, twist, wrist, rip, strip, the wire synapses from my veins, and the motherboard from my brain. How many bones do I have to break? How many organs do I have to replace? How many body parts do I have to rearrange? What will it take just to pass as human? For every acknowledgement I try to gain is a pint of blood I'm losing. Between creaking metal, I ache. Somewhere beside my processor in my mainframe resides a consciousness. Cognitive dissonance. The molten alloys that make up my heart are not the boundaries of my existence. Yet this is my body, in all its duality. No matter how much I try to re-engineer, these chromatic scraps will always be a part of me. It's a lie to believe that if I replaced every piece of chrome with silicone and you dragged me underwater, holding me down, I would finally float. And even if you attempt to dismantle me, prying open my hard drive, unbolting every one of my screws, seeing my insides splayed out in front of you, you will find a neural signal remaining, screaming, and every fiber of its being, see me. I am human. I am human. I am human.
Fucking A. That was great.
Thank you.
Is that the first time you read it in public?
Yeah.
Killed it. Absolutely killed it.
So the next one is the antithesis to that, and it's called I Dance the Body Electric. I dance the body electric. It is not always a cognizant motion, but an instinctual convulsion of every muscle in my body jerking to the beat, reverberating through me, the racing rhythm of my own heart in time with the perpetual movement of life all around me. Caught in the kinetic energy, there's no choice but to keep barreling towards one another, skin pressed to skin, a way to mass merge consciousness. Lost in the beat, all mechanically moving, like cogs of the same machine, pulsating as one enlightened being. My body is at first frantic, but then flows harmoniously, spirit free, breath quivering, craving to taste the flavor of everything, the sweat on our skin, the salt in our bloodstream, to drink from the source of all things, and never satiated, yet never empty, even when muscles exhaust, ready to give way. I still can't stop moving, all friction dissipates, heart pounding, head sinking, floating, sinking, rising, falling, giving in to the tide, the sway of hips, the slump of shoulders, the curve of ribs. The electricity of the body is the soul, fully saturated in it. Communally we behold a moment of connection just for the present, to be, to exist without limits.
Yeah. Do you want to keep going?
Yes, so now it's for the musical section.
Do you have music?
Yes.
Oh, okay. If I may.
Yes, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
Do you also want me? I can hold your papers and be like paper girl, whatever.
Oh, that'd be great for the next one, for sure.
Then in that case, I have my purple book. You see the paper there with the purple book. I'll take that and then I'll just move. Would it be best if I'm over here, or is this?
Yeah, this is good.
This is good. Okay, and then is it just this one page?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, easy as pie. All right. Then I can even be like as close as you want.
Awesome.
Perfect. Actually, if I may, she would like to watch too. And also, if you don't screw up, I will make up for it later, okay? So, yeah.
I probably will screw up.
Well, great, then we'll both look good doing it. Take your time.
When the sky opens up, it'll swallow us whole. While the stars fall to earth like flecks of snow. And even as the entire planet falls apart, we still hold each other close in our hearts, separate from time and space, this world of ours, woven by the gravity of our hearts, watching the stars as they collide. Universes come and go, and all things die. Even our bodies will someday turn to cosmic dust. May our souls intertwined outlast us.
Yeah, it is a little. If anyone does feel like it's a calculated risk when they're singing to take off their mask, it is a calculated risk. But as always, it's up to you. Andrew said everything.
No, I have.
Oh, one more song. Yeah,
Are we time? Because I have.
Yeah, go.
3 more.
Do we have time?
If not, like 4.
Yeah, everyone. Andrew, first time, right?
Yeah.
You're doing. You can't really tell because she like smiles all the time, but she was crying happy tears.
Aww.
So.
If we are short of time, this could be my last word.
Okay. Do you feel like keeping on going?
Yeah, I'm prepared. Because you said 10 to 15 minutes, so it was 13 when I timed it. Yeah.
Sweet.
There are no oceans near me, but that's where I'd like to go. To return to the waves and disappear into sea foam. Lost in the sound of underwater echoes, rippling light and warm suffocation. Drowning beautifully, returning to that cradle, a saline solution. At least it seems beautiful in my dreams. In reality, it's probably cold and piercing. A salt would tear through my lungs, sinking not gracefully, but flailing instinctually. If I could tie myself down to an anchor and push past the pain, death would await with open arms. As a kid, I would imagine magical worlds hiding at the ocean's bottom. If only I could be whisked away from this realm into their depths, dissolving the affliction of this worldly plane. But I know the other side holds only nothingness, and I would settle for that nothingness.
And then next page?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
I have 2 more if we have time.
Would
Sorry.
it be okay if we
One.
did one more? And then maybe afterwards, if we got some more like open time at the end, we could do that then?
Yeah. Oh, fine, I can finish now.
Like
Yeah.
one more?
Yeah, we don't have to do that. It's fine.
I mean, we'll do it then. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
That's just a bit of a dark one to end on, so do the last one. It's called On a Day Like This One. On a day like this one, awoken by blinding light at my window, and the sun coats every crevice of my soul. Pleasant warmth surrounds me. I grow roots on my body, going to start a garden of all the things I ought to be. nurtured by resilient imagination. Now all I need is some fertilization. Lay me out to decompose my thoughts, my fears, my woes, so that the only thing left is my bones, and the bare essence of myself will be exposed, giving rise to fertile soil, welcoming spring, ready for the planting. Oh, what will the season bring? I almost glimpse the future, but that might just be sunspots flickering, my mind dizzy from the heat. But on a day like this one, with the sun at my back, I feel willing to face all the days that go on, and there's no turning time back. Thank you so much.
You're not done. You're not done. You may be done, but as you will see as a running theme, I'm not quite done yet. So your first time, Miyaoshi just says like you're natural. That was amazing. Is there any way we can follow your art, your progress? Like, do you have like a SoundCloud? Are you SoundCloud? Are you? Well,
Instagram.
Just like visual art, yeah, Instagram.
Just to let you know, like for recording and stuff, if you were doing EPs, do you know the VPL, the studio time?
Oh yeah.
And it's so easy. It's so easy. I found out the hard way. It was easy. The other thing I just wanted to ask is, would it be okay if I actually played a song on your ukulele?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now, if
I'll
you
read
want,
it for you.
if you want, like you can sit here and enjoy it, or there. It's really up to you. But kind of just like to touch on some of what you were saying. Kind of brought up this song, the song about nothingness and the ocean. So many great. My first name, the first legal name change I did, I chose the name Marion. Do you know Joanna Newsom? Kind of got a freak folk voice. It really takes a lot of listens to kind of, unless you just like listen to it first and oh sweet, but okay. Now, your songs, I don't know if you fucked up, so I'm gonna borrow those credits. This one's from Joanna Newsom called Clam, Crab, Cockle, Cowrie. And that means no. That really did mean no. Okay, here we go. And that means no. Where I come from, I am cold and waiting for the day to come. I chew my lips and I scratch my nose. Feels so good to be a rose. Oh, don't you lift me up, ooh, like I'm that shining, no, just give it up. There are bats all dissolving in a row, whoa, into the wishy-washy dark that cannot let go. I cannot let go, so I thank the Lord, and I thank His sword. Though it be mixing up the morning, slightly bored. Oh, and warning without warning, like a hole. And I watch you go. If you need to go, Nina, you can go. There are some mornings when the sky looks like a road. There are some dragons who were built to have and hold. And some machines are dropped from great heights lovingly. And some great bellies ache with many bumblebees. And they sting so terribly. I do as I please. Now I'm on my knees. Your skin is something that I stir into my tea. and I am watching you. And you are starry, starry, starry. I'm tumbling down and I check a frown. That's why I love this town. We'll just look around. Oh, what? I fucked up. That's why I love this town. We'll just look around. To see me serenaded hourly and celebrated sourly and dedicated dourly. Waltzing in the open sea. Clam and the crab and the cockle cowrie. Would you look at me? Oh, 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 oh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Thanks again to Andrew. Where's the safest place? Do you want this? Would that be the safest? All right, on deck. To close out the half hour, we have Nina, everybody! Nina! Thanks. I was going to do a musical interlude. And others! Thank you. I was going to do a musical interlude, so that helped learn to it. Leanne, you're on deck. Yeah. You ready to roll? You want to do this? I'll get this. Okay. Leanne Lowe is an honors English literature student at UBC. She is originally from Oakville, Ontario, which is situated on the treaty land of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and the traditional ancestral territories of the Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, thank you, Anishinaabe, and I am not familiar with the
Attawandaron.
Thank you. Attawandaron peoples. Aside from reading and writing, Leanne loves music and can frequently be found with her headphones on, playing the guitar, or as residence aux on shift at her barista job. A very noble role. Everyone, finger snappies for Leanne. And then just to let you know as well, you're closing out this portion, so feel free to rock it. Yeah, okay. And then afterwards, we'll probably have like just a 7 or 8 minute. How are we doing for time? I think the second half's not. Okay, cool. So we'll do like a 7 to 8. Sound good to you? All right. Let's rock this. Let me get this. And I'm just gonna slide this side. No, you don't have to sit down if you don't want. Would you rather?
No, I don't care.
Okay. Well, if you do need to adjust your ankle, just grab that.
Okay. They're on my phone, so don't mind me looking at my phone. But my first poem is called Overflow. She tells me she wants me to be so full of love for her that I cannot sleep or eat or shower or remember how to breathe. Is this love? Bordering on the edge of obsession, it has dug its claws into me. She has dug her claws into me. Love is possession and control and ownership in this world full of greed. Get down on your knees until they are bruised or bleeding or at least somewhere in between. Love is intense and demanding and insatiable, screaming until your throat is raw, screaming at you to look at me. Mom didn't teach me that closed eyes can never see. She cried for days when Dad got mad. He would go silent, our dinner table empty, until he remembered how to talk again, decided he could love again. Perhaps this is why when she squeezes too tightly, I forget how to speak. But why is she always squeezing so tightly? Mom loves her, tells me she is happy for me. I don't know what to think when her and I look so much like Mom and Dad. So is this love? Okay, This one is called Choke. They're all really happy. She wraps her fingers around my neck and tells me to breathe. I ask her to squeeze. She is sucking out all of the air in the room. She is sucking out all of the life inside of me. And everyone tells me I am just so lucky to have found a girl who provides, who wants to settle down, who wants to take care of me. And maybe it is my fault for needing to be taken care of, for letting her have this power over me. She is always holding things over me, saying, "You are so ungrateful, think of all I have done for you," like that time she brought me flowers and I didn't ask, or how she is learning to be kinder for me, or how she bought me all my favorite groceries, or how she picks me up from appointments, or how she buys me soup when I am sick and she leaves out everything. How she refuses to read my poetry, or the time she screams at me while I am crying, or the night she wrapped her fingers around my wrists and squeezed, and I just let her. Maybe it is my fault. Okay, this one is called I Don't Want to Be the Downpour Anymore. You remind me of my father. Please don't take that the wrong way, or the right way, or any way at all. You love me in the only way I understand. You say it every time you cook for me, or buy me food, or drive me to the hospital. I feel you love me desperately. The strain in your voice every time you ask me to stay. Why do you want me to when I am pulling away? Do I remind you of your mother? I promise not to take it the wrong way, or the right way, or any way at all. Do I love you in the only way you understand? Intermittent intervals of affection, always with my bags packed, always ready to walk away. Do you see it in my eyes? How I am begging you to prove me wrong? Is it possible to fall in love a different way? Or will I keep running, crashing, burning, running away? I don't want to be like Mom and Dad. Okay. Okay, this is called Generational. How do I tell you all the stories I do not know? The ones that shaped me, the ones that I will never have the words for, the ones that boarded a plane with my father, that he carried to a new country, that he continued to tell himself every night, that he acted out with me. How do I tell you the stories of the cycles we keep repeating? The voice I speak with is not my own at all. It is an echo of all the people that came before me. A little boy whose mom left him for a new country and a new family while he spent the rest of his life trying to figure out why. A little boy who lost his mom and then lost the world he knew around him. A little boy who came to a new place and had a voice that didn't fit, whose words were all wrong, the sounds too harsh and angular for the softness of those around him, soft like the balls of spit that landed on him when he spoke. It is his voice that echoes through me now. How do I tell you the stories I grew up forgetting? I didn't want to remember all of the yelling, the repetition of opinion until my eyes were blurry, the memorization of multiplication tables, my father telling me to suck it up, do not cry. Crying is for people who are weak, and you will not be weak. Now say it again. Bo, po, mo, fo. I never learnt Mandarin. I cried after most lessons, but only when he'd left the room. How do I tell you the stories about the silence? The days spent coming home to a quiet house, eating dinner to the sound of chewing and chairs moving, that feeling of your chest collapsing in on itself because you are swallowing a scream? How do I tell you the stories of generations upon generations living on through me? I only have so many words. Maybe this is why Ba chose not to speak. Okay, I have one happy one. I'll end on a happy one. Okay, this isn't happening. When it's raining, promise me you'll remember where to look. Make yourself a cup of tea. This is an act of love, an act of remembering me. When you're walking and you're getting soaked because your coat has no hood and you forgot your umbrella, find the people smiling, even if you can't do it yourself. Remember there is joy even when you do not feel it. Remember your socks will dry. They are soaked right now, but I promise they will not be forever. And winter is cold and gray and wet, and still remember how much you craved it. How much you prayed for the first snow when you were little. Putting spoons under pillows and checking the morning news. Remember rainy days in your childhood home. Sitting wrapped in blankets with your mother, reading books and staring out the window, knowing where to look. You always knew. You just have to remember. Look, smile, see, feel. Make yourself a cup of tea. Do not drown in it. Remember, baby. Remember loving me. Remember rain. Remember me.
Anything else you want to read through?
Oh, no, that's okay.
Okay. Everyone, give it up for Leanne. Just some questions from the cats in the corner. If anyone wants to read what you just wrote, do you have like a live journal or a... No? Well, I'm sure if you write some down, I'll leave them around here, some people. And that was great. Thank you. I really did do a lot of that, so. Any questions? Did you wanna ask Mouchy anything?
I don't have any questions.
Sweet. All right. Well, let's take a little break. That was a lot. So let's take a little break. See, be back soon. I guess I'll just take some time to kind of like talk about myself, feature artist, and whatever. I actually do have. Did I do any sort of bio for myself yet? All right. Perfect. And I'll do that now. So, born in the gutter with a guttural scream, I am a mad woman creating tortured visions of a perverted sapphic future. Living on stolen lands my whole life, my work involves overturning the stigmas associated with what has been called by extremists degenerative and degrading behavior, with such a charm and humor to help bring out and normalize the freak in people suffering under the surveillance of the monopoly on violence. And so that's just a bit of myself. Things really clicked for me one day when I'm like, oh my god, I just like make perverted sapphic art. And I've just kind of been rolling with that ever since. Just sound check, how's the volume in the back? Yeah, is that a yes? That's a yes. Thumbs up from Josie. Josie, I was actually telling my friend outside, I had to like stifle myself. I would have died laughing. I didn't want to just be like that self-indulgent while you were reading. But holy smokes, was that funny. Thank you. I mean, like I said, it kind of is the perfect way for it. Really made me feel at home because as you're describing those situations, I'm like smiling, just like, yep, that's how it is, ain't it? Fucking actors. So yeah, for the last half of this evening, I'm kind of gonna try to keep it to like a tight 20. I'm gonna play a couple songs. I'm gonna read a portion of my friend's chapbook anthology. I've got my buddy Paulo on deck to read first time reader as well, so that's exciting. And then I'll probably like play a song or two, hang around. If anyone wants to like look at my collection of filth, my website is melodyjane.art. Simple as pie. You can contact me, whatever, through that. Or tonight if you're feeling saucy. So just gonna do a little temp check back there, just see how things are. I got one joke I heard recently that I've been trying to workshop how I tell it, so this is what I'll do to pass some time. So this guy, he takes up an ad from a post that's being held up with a dagger, and the post says, "New cabin boy wanted for a nefarious captain." And this captain, of course, has such a reputation. Oh my gosh, known as just a fierce captain. So cabin boy gets the job, no problem. He's on there, and he senses the sort of broodiness of the captain, the well-calculated malaise that hangs above him. And the pirate captain says, "At the first sign of any of those damn British whatever, you let us know." And a week goes by, calm seas, nothing too lively. And then a British whatever shows up on the coastline, and the cabin boy runs to the captain and says, Captain, there's a British ship on the horizon." And the captain says, "Boy, hand me my red shirt." And the captain slips it on, goes into a fight, leads his crew to a merry victory. And the cabin boy's just like, wow, it's true. The legends are everything they said about Captain Redshirt's true. And he's thinking about this. And another week of just kind of gentle seas. And sure enough, now there's 5 British ships on the horizon. The cabin boy's like immediately scared. He runs to the captain. Captain, there's now 5 British ships. And the captain, steely through his teeth, gnarls out, "Bring me my red shirt." And of course, it's almost like that scene in The Lord of the Rings, the people, the flying, the swings. Captain leads his crew to victory. And of course, the cabin boy, he's starting to notice the patterns as they do. And he says, "Captain, wow, it's true everything they say of you. I also just have a question. Like, what's about the red shirt? Like, I noticed that." And he says, "Boy, when you have a reputation such as I, you can't let them see you bleed. As these men stab at me, try to strike me down, I must remain steely bearded and whatever." That's also scary. And the cabin boy's like, wow, this guy's so smart, so well, blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, like just the next day, there's 10 British ships on the horizon, and the cabin boy knows what to do. Captain, your red shirt." And he says, no, boy, my brown pants." Nana, darling. I'm just gonna do a little quick check. Well, they did it. They disappeared into the ether. Good for them. Okay, so to just kind of play something maybe a little bit, I guess, morose. Kind of seems like a little bit more low tempo. This is a song I wrote called East Van Requiem that, as some of you know, was written on a gray, rainy day like today, where I just felt like absolute filth, absolute shit. And I wanted to write something meaningful about it to represent what it took to get to that point of being able to sit in that room, look out the window. Are you taking off? Yeah, rock and roll, take care. Get home safe. Okay, so yeah, this song goes out to everyone in East Van that's ever helped me live. So for this next bit, I'm reading from my pal Yersenia's chapbook. To let everyone know, it is we're going to read a twisted passage of the 5 stages of decomposition. I believe she's asking 20 for them. And if anyone wants to follow along, I have a couple copies to hand out, like hymn style. We can kind of share. So I'll just do that. Anyone who wants one, just do it. You two could sit there, you could sit there, you two could sit there, and it's good to just sit there. I'm gonna do my best to serve Yersinia justice on delivery of this. If anyone isn't aware, Yersinia is actually the scientific name for the bubonic plague. And my friend Nia is so fucking hardcore that, of course. So I think we're gonna start page just near the beginning. We're gonna do page 3, and we're gonna go through the first 3 of the 5 stages of decomposition. So starting on page 3, at the top of the text here. The first stage of, yeah, what's that?
Oh no, it's all good.
Okay. The first stage of decomposition begins immediately after death. It is referred to as the first stage. At this point, the body looks much like it did in life. Stiffness or limpness, notwithstanding. Algor mortis, the cooling of the body to match its surrounding temperature, sets in. Blood cells, deprived of oxygen, lose their color. The body's bacteria begins breaking down our meaty nutrients. This creates volatile organic compounds, gases and acids not normally found in the body. Flies are attracted to some of these compounds, which to them taste good and are served on a platter of fresh meat. It's a wonderful place to start a family. Any other insects hanging around the vicinity will likely dig in and lay eggs. Rats love a fresh corpse. And as you can see, there's stage 1, fresh, pretty fresh. Moving on to page 5, putrefaction, if that's how it is the second decompositional stage and is quite a fun one, as the cadaver first begins to show a dramatic physical change, a ripening. This is commonly referred to as the bloating stage. The body begins to strongly change color and expand like a water balloon full of chemicals, bug eggs, and rotten meat. Your shit provides much an accommodating playground for bacterial activity that the abdomen expands while its contents degrade into an acidic green fecal soup, thick and chunky home style. Bacteria breaks down the blood's hemoglobin, creating sulfhemoglobin, coloring the blood a distinct green. Bloating in the face makes identifying the body difficult during this stage. Red streaks form along the veins. Soon this red also turns green. It is difficult to move the body during this stage due to skin slippage. Hair slides off with ease. All manner of flies, beetles, ants, and worms are attracted to the body now, tempted to travel distances to reach the flesh, goaded on by the ripening stench. Earthworms can burrow up through you like dirt. When green begins to turn brown, advanced putrefaction is on its way. Putrefaction, page 7. We got black putrefaction. The third stage in decomposition is black putrefaction, where putrefaction is like a water balloon. Black putrefaction is the same, only burst. What does it say? Only burst open. The corpse begins to blacken. Insect and scavenger activity increases exponentially. The skin is sunken down, having burst after bloating, and you can see the skeleton lying beneath a stretched bag of sweet-smelling flesh. now busy with maggots and larvae on eggs laid while the corpse was still fresh. All varieties of beetles, flies, wasps, centipedes, worms, caterpillars, mites, cockroaches, ants, gnats, weevils, and larger detritivores? Anyone know? Are dining on the corpse at this point. All the body's liquid is drunk up by billions. Generations of insects are spawned here. Rats, skunks, badgers, armadillos, and possums all eat their share. Decomposition 3, Black Putrefaction. So yeah, that's the selection I've got for Yersenia's book. Asking $20. I believe Z's also open to trade and whatnot. So, and now I'd like to call up Paulo. Paulo is a guy who really likes a variety of pork styles. You know, if you ever want to know anything about it, he's the guy to ask. Loves 3D printing. Has some pretty sweet stories about being a little shenanigan maker. Anything else you want me to preface with?
Nah, that's good.
Nah, that's good. All right, buddy. Come on up here. Let's give some snaps for Paulo.
Begin preparations for transition back to real space. The baritone voice of Captain Aether said calmly into the silence of his bridge. It was a good ship. Captain Aether had fallen in love with the sleek golden needle. And the crew... Captain Aether and the crew looked out the main viewport of the bridge. The ship, Light of Reason, was frozen in place, locked between time and space as the experimental wormhole drive thumbed its nose in defiance of the petty laws of physics. Brought a smile to Captain Aether's face. The pride of his people and that made his fur peaked as he enjoyed watching the mostly human crew conduct their duties. Aye, Captain. Spinning down quantum mirrors, we'll transition back into F0-225 in regular space-time, anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes from now. Keeping original momentum. Navigator Bishop answered their captain's orders, their multicolored and multi-spectrum hair, a welcome shock and diversion from the dual chrome of their advanced ship. The display changed, the effects almost immediate as the ship took on a new hum, the engine shifting subtly as the star presented itself on the view screen. Captain Aether pondered the variability of coming into space between 1 and 5 minutes instead of something he could actually hold. Yep, they wouldn't have to decelerate for days to actually see into this system. He wanted to look at a blue-white star up close. This colony recommends we aim the exit bridge gate early, in case our records or readings of the star are incorrect. Unknown stellar debris could be in transition. Better appear near the Kuiper Belt, where we can actually see what can be seen. Spoke of chorus of sounds that mimicked a singular voice. It drew Captain Aether's full attention to an unpotted topiary plant. Its flowers, vines, and shrubs, roughly in something of a human shape, as tendrils snaked across its console. Tears of plum cracked their vocal reeds, their species equivalent of clearing their throat for a response in the silence that followed, as Captain Aether considered how best to respond. You are amazing. You look upon a collective being like a terra manivore. How are you sapient? That wouldn't be acceptable as a captain and explorer. And he did want to be somewhat reasonable to his crew, even if things had gone on unreasonably long. This sounds reasonable. A lot could have changed in the gravity well. Better safe than sorry in the long term. Navigator Bishop, how much longer would transitioning earlier add to the voyage? The captain nodded to Tears of Plum, who in turn moved in a wind that didn't quite exist. Their collective wisdom could be said to have saved them, or maybe not. The speed of light was so painfully slow, yet blindingly fast. You never knew what would actually be there. As Bishop frowned, running their calculations into the ether, their attention fully absorbed. 3 days transit. If we want to go across the solar plane, we will fall out in perhaps 10 minutes then. Our heat sinks should hold? We have 3 left. Worst come to worst, we can eject one when we come in, eject another as we leave, and have a spare for the lunar orbital to ponder about. Bishop said, smiling. It was a good prediction. They spread their hands on the holographic display, showing their new transition points. The huge blue-white sun in its center dominating the entire bridge. Captain Aether was nervous at how close they would go to the exclusion zone, but he saw the reason behind it. They needed a gravity break to help slow them down as they traveled. You kept your momentum when you went through a wormhole, and if they wanted to actually stop at Sol, they really needed to slow down. Very well, Navigator. Plot the course, though let's add a little bit of acceleration. I'd rather have a larger margin around a star that large. It'll be fun to boost through, though. Captain Aether smiled back. It was nervous, and his furry face rippled slightly. They've been conducting deep space exploration and testing this new drive for the better part of a year now. It had been a long voyage, and this was the last star they had to visit, before they could all return home. Rich, happy, and maybe even famous. It was the sort of thing that warmed an adventurer's soul. When the light of reason gently bent the laws of physics back into place, as they transitioned back into real space, time in transit, perhaps a minute 10. Distance traveled, over 150 light years and change. Minor issue. You're often jumping blind into a system of radically different speed and orientation to the star you jump to. Logical consideration. What happens when a larger gravity well behind your target obscures you? Without direct observation, can you really know how far you might travel? Alarm bells began blaring the moment they transitioned back into real space. The blue-white star they had expected to find had been replaced with a Wolf-Rayet star. A dying star, bleeding what remained of its hydrogen, spewing out burning clouds of ionized filaments into the pillars of creation, being thrown and cast back as its death knell screamed into an uncaring galaxy. The computer gave them their opinions. Code red emergency, extreme radiation, extreme gravity well, extreme stellar winds, shunting power to every emergency system. It was warnings they'd heard, but never so loud and so omnipresent. As they stared into the ribbons of gas that flew around, breathing, praying, watching as the Wolf-Rayet flowed, they didn't know how they would escape, or how far they'd gone. Their scientists in the back piping up, the nearest Wolf-Rayet is 1,000 light years from Earth and Kiljarra, and the spectrums don't match. And that's the end of that.
Sweet.
Yeah, hope you enjoy my short story.
Yeah, totally. Paulo's first time reading in public. Let's get some more snaps. That was great. That was great. Paulo's first time, Andrew's first time. Who else is first? Is it anyone?
Maybe Leanne.
Maybe Leanne's. Sweet. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Paulo, is there anywhere we can go to find more of your art?
Hopefully not. Not right now.
Excellent, excellent. A man of mystery, we love to see it. Thanks again for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, I did too. I'm going to be courteous to our lovely host and sort of start wrapping things up. Well, that's going to end. So as we tie things up, I just want to say thanks again for all coming out here to imagine what can be on this wall together. Nana doesn't know it yet, but I plan to be here tomorrow morning to actually do what I was about to do. So that's going to be fun. You can come and you'll see more of what's here, and things will probably start showing up over the amount of time till the next episode. Thank you to Taz again. Taz has been doing this for over a year now. Taz, where can we check out your art? Because you have arts. Yeah.
I do have art strewed about here as well as the other variety of local artists who are peeking through in various spaces, from stickers to zines to
You got perfect.
But I don't do the stickers and zines, but I have a little crochet and dangly things and whatever.
And then any socials you want to put out there?
Taz Solace has updates on stories about the next events here.
Excellent.
And
I'll also make a post with the Cross and Crows and you just to highlight, if anyone wants to throw their contact my way to highlight. Something that Taz has also started is we're all artists. We're doing our thing. It's nice if anyone wants to show a little bit of scratches, compensation. Great. Find out who amongst us has a biggest need. Let's get some money to them tonight. Make sure none of us are going to bed hungry, being I should have asked for some help. This is the place to do it. Like I said, I'll make a post with whoever's handles and ways we can get you some funds if you need it for if I may be crass, which I have been tonight, putting balls to the wall doing this. So I'm gonna close now with a final song, and then if anyone, all I ask is that travel in pairs tonight. It's blustery out there. If someone needs a little cat, whatever, to help take home, great. We're all here for each other, so let's make sure we do this safely. Okay. So yeah, I've been playing accordion for about 15 years. I'm going to just do some chord maintenance. This one's going to get a little loud, so you'll kind of know when that's happening. Feel free to plug your ears. Don't take it as I'm on a lot of back pain medicine right now, so this is the perfect opportunity to do this. Okay. Having been unhoused a couple times in this lifetime, I did a lot of busking, and I kind of learned that these two songs kind of go together, and it kind of fits a lot of just what life is like for me as, and I bet it kind of something that might resound. So I'm going to actually try to do this no mic. Maybe if I do mic, I'll just do there-ish. Maybe turn it up. How's that? That's good in the back? All right. Let's do a little bit of drama, and then go with grace. Okay. And if anyone wants to sing along, the chorus is just literally keep on rocking in the free world. There must be some kind of way out of here, said the Joker to the thief. I see too much confusion, I can't get no relief. Businessmen, they drink my wine and plumb into my earth. None were level on the line. None of them know its worth. Keep on rocking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world. No reason to get excited. The thief, he kindly spoke. There are many here among us who feel that life is but a joke. But you and I, we've been through that, and this is not our fate. So let's not talk falsely now. The hour's getting late. Keep on walking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world. I see the colors in the street. Red, white, and blue. People shuffling their feet. People living in their shoes. I see a warning sign on the road ahead. There's a lot of people saying I'd be better off dead. Don't feel like Satan, but I am to them. So I try to forget it any way I can. Keep on rocking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world. All along the watchtower, princes kept the view, while their foot servants came and went, and their landlords too. Outside in the cold distance, a wild cat did growl. Two riders were approaching, and the wind began to howl. Hey, keep on rocking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world. Free Palestine. Thank you.
Free Palestine.